Hey guys, my name is Jen and welcome to the book Refuge. If this is your first time here, I'm so happy to have you and welcome to one of my numerous and overwhelming book hauls. Man, I counted just now and I have 30 plus books, 36 I believe, to show you. Yeah, a lot of them are because I went on a romance buying binge just about last week. So I bought, I think there's 12 historical romance, as well as I have a stack of 7 new adult romances because I was just feeling it, and that happens sometimes. I read a lot of fantasy recently. I always read a lot of fantasy, but I was just feeling it, and I found a new author, which if you've been sticking around with me, you know who it is, and I just went bonkers for her and bought like every book she's written. I'm still missing one that I'm waiting to come in, but yeah, it's fine. I don't need to show you each individual book for her. So without further ado, I will tell you, maybe get a snack, maybe get a nice cool drink of water or something a little spicier if you're feeling it, because this is gonna take a little bit, and that's okay. We're friends here. So let's dive in to my book haul. Where to start? Well, let's start with what I'm most excited about. One of the reasons I also waited to do this, today is the release day and book birthday of Aurora Rising by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This is just one of the plain old boring versions of it, but I pre-ordered so that I could get the novella Memento, which is supposed to be sent soon. Can't wait to get that. The only way to get it was to either win a giveaway or to pre-order, and I did. So excited. This is going to be a long one today. This is about Squad. Why did I literally just forget the name of the squad? Anyway, Amy and Jay wrote the Illuminae Files, which is one of my favorite series ever. Illuminae specifically being one of my favorite books, and I'm really excited to take on this one. This is about a crew. I have purposely not looked into too many details about it. I didn't want to be spoiled, but I know there is a squad and that they're all really cool. He's been putting up character profiles for the last few weeks, and I'm so excited to read it. It's just beautiful. It's space, it's a group of friends, there's going to be snark and romance and just all the things, and I am so excited. I picked up, randomly one day, I'd seen this book by Linda Howard when I was picking out some at Barnes & Noble, and it's called The Woman Left Behind. Always with his smart-ass car, it just pisses me off. This is about a girl named Gina who works for communications for a paramilitary organization. And she's not someone who ever sees combat, but she does a lot of their diagnostics and works behind the scenes. And then her crew gets trapped and left for dead, and there's nobody to go look for them but her because everyone believes that they died. It just seemed really interesting. I heard that it was like suspenseful, but there also are some really cool elements to it. And then I found out that this was actually part of probably like a series she was starting. I believe so. And so I ended up, and this one is the second book. So I ordered from, I think this is the Book Outlet one, and I actually ended up with an autographed copy. So that's cool. And this is called Troublemaker, and this is supposedly the first book. So, and it's about that squad, that paramilitary squad. So these are a little outside my wheelhouse, but I heard that there's some like romance in them, like military, whatever. We'll see. Don't know. Next for you, I picked up The Ruin of Kings by Jenn Lyons. I always love a Jen who spells her name like me. Also, Pierre Ford had read this and she said it's amazing. She said, it's about Kieran, who grew up in the slums, and he's a prisoner and discovers that the long-lost prince is nothing like what the storybooks have promised, and the storybooks lied about a lot of things. So there's dragons, demons, gods, prophecies, true love, and how the hero always wins. And one of the reasons I really loved it is the first line of the book is, the monster slouched down by the iron bars of Kieran's jail cell. She set a small plain stone down on the ground between them and pushed it forward. She didn't look like a monster. She looked like a girl in her 20s with weak gold skin and soft brown hair. So I just really like that setup, and Pierre said it was really good, and it looks amazing. And there's dragons. I'm sold. Next, I have my unplugged book box pick from April. I also have my May one that I'll show you in a minute here as well. But this one is called Sky Without Stars by Jessica Brody and Joanne Rendell. And I'm told that this is very heavily inspired by Les Mis. It's like a futuristic Paris. And it involves a thief, an officer, and a guardian. And I hear Les Mis. I hear cool things. I get excited. Got a signed book plate in this one. I don't know when I'll get around to this beast, but it's beautiful. And I'm super into it. There's a crown on it. But I love Les Mis. I have a couple books that are supposed to be like Les Mis. One, Enchanté, that I've done before. I want to get to that. Next, I don't have a ton to say about this, but I picked up Mirror Mirror, A Twisted Tale by Jenn Colentina. This Jen does not spell her name the way I do, but that's okay. Again, I have another one of these Twisted Tales. I haven't read a single one of them, but they're beautiful and they're Disney, and I will keep buying them, even though it's kind of pointless. But this one is, they all have like a twist on them. So this one is, what if the evil queen poisoned the prince instead of poisoning Snow White? It's really beautiful. I always love the art on these because it's like Disney's art for them. Someday I'll get around to reading them. Maybe I'll do my own little like readathon where I try to read all of them. But it's really beautiful. And like I always have like the spines, or else I'll like show all the covers on my thing, and it looks beautiful. All right, then I'll show you. This is my May unplugged book box pick. I don't really do unboxings anymore. They're in my vlog sometimes. Those videos just don't get a lot of views because it's like you either are watching it because you want to be spoiled for what's in your own box, or else you've already gotten the box and you don't care. So I just stopped making those videos, but sometimes I put it in my vlogs, just so you know. This one, the book is Every Moment After. This is by Joseph Moldover. This book is about two boys, Cole and Matt, who when they were in first grade, there was a school shooting in their first grade classroom, which is just horrible. One of the boys was at home sick that day, so he's very guilty that he didn't die, and the other one was in the room and somehow survived. And it's about them graduating, and there are rows and rows of empty chairs because his graduating class, nobody else is left. I do not enjoy reading this type of content. I know no one enjoys it, but I find that it just makes me depressed and angry more than like teaching me anything, because I'm an emotional reader. I'm not a like teach me things reader. Does that make sense? But I do want to keep it around. Maybe I'll find a way to fit it into a readathon, or one day I'll just feel called to it. Yeah, I don't think this is anyone's favorite type of book to read, but it seems interesting, and I hope that I get around to it at some point. Next, I picked up The Lonely Dead by April Henry, and I picked this up for a specific reason. So back when I was in middle school, there was this movie that came out called The Unforgettables, I believe, and it's about this kid who's kind of a douche, and he gets murdered, but he's not dead all the way, and so he's like holding on to life, and while he's there, his ghost is there, and he his ghost form has to try to convince this girl to like save his life. Anyway, this story reminded me of that, because this is about Adele, and she can talk to the dead, and one of her best friends an ex-best friend gets murdered, and the ghost leads her to the body. And then she gets accused of the murder because she finds the body, and they were ex-best friends. And so with the help of the ghost of her ex-best friend, they have to try to find the killer. This is a really short book. I may save this for October. It seems like a really good October read. I don't like too many stories like this either, but it was really short, and the cover was really cool. And I don't know, for some reason it just caught my attention. not a horrible thing. So maybe I'll get to this one sometime soon as well. Also, I keep saying also, I have lots of books to talk about, it's a thing. This one is really confusing to me and the bookseller. So I'm really good friends with one of the booksellers at my Barnes & Noble. Shocker, I know. And I picked up Through the White Wood by Jessica Leek. Now, Jessica Leek has another book that's called Beyond a Darkened Shore. They both have birds on them. They both have a title kind of similarly. They're not about the same thing. Like, they're not sequels. They're not related to each other. They're about completely different, like, systems. Like, one's about, like, a Viking, and this one is about, like, it's Russian. I get that. Like, I know authors like to, well, they don't always get to pick, but, like, aesthetic be the same. But it really confused me because I thought I needed to read the first one, and I guess I don't. But anyway, it looks really cool. This one, like I said, it's Russian. And it's about this girl named Katya, and she has the power to freeze anything she touches. And she meets someone who has the power to summon fire, and he's actually the crown prince in Kiev. And they try to work together to stop an army coming to kill them. So there we go. I love Russian things. I love powers. I love magic. Here we go. These ones will be really quick to talk about. Here, I ordered The Great Pursuit by Wendy Higgins. Ended up with an autographed copy. I have The Great Hunt because Murphy really likes that book and told me to get it. This one even has like an inscription on it. To the Seas. Love Wendy Higgins. So I ended up getting a couple autographed copies from Book Outlet, so that was kind of cool. I haven't read the first one yet, but I needed the free shipping and it was only like $5. So here you go. Great Pursuit. Then I also picked up Ice Wolves from Book Outlet by Amy Kaufman. This is one of her middle grade series. I, again, just thought I would get this because I want to try an Amy Kaufman book on her own because I've only ever read her when she was writing with someone else. So I thought I would give this one a try. Then I picked up, The Blinding Knife, which is the sequel to The Black Prism. I really enjoyed that book. I read that in March or April. Yeah, I read that in March. Really liked it. Wanted to pick up the next one. Don't know when I'll get to it because I have 1,001 fantasies to read. I'll probably get this one on Scribd because I know Scribd has the whole trilogy. So I'll probably get that and consume it that way. But I like to have a series. So I did that. Then I also picked up Nemesis and Ally by Anna Banks. I really like Anna Banks. She wrote this trilogy called The Serena Legacy that I read back in like early college time. I don't really know what this series is about, but I've wanted to buy it to try other books by her. I believe this is kind of like Greco-Roman. It's about a princess who's a forger. Don't know what that means. She flees to a different kingdom and she wants to hide there, but she ends up meeting one of her enemies and they form a bond. And so there's Nemesis and Ally. They both look really cool. Don't know when I'll get to them, but it looks fun. Almost there. We're getting closer. Then I'll share this one. So I just got this book today. I got it from work, actually. I work for a tech company, and we had Vernice Armour come and talk to us. She is the first female African-American pilot for the Marine Corps, and she served 2 tours in Iraq after 9/11 as a fighter pilot, and she came to talk to us about accomplishing your goals and finding your own $1 million goal. Like, what is your $1 million goal? And I don't really read self-help or things like that. They kind of annoy me. But she was a really charismatic speaker. She was amazing. She had some great, touching stories. So I want to have it around. Maybe I'll check it out in some form later. But her whole, like, thing was, like, the power to engage and that go in fighting for whatever you want. So I don't know when or if I'll get to that, but because self-help really isn't my thing, but I thought I'd say it. Picked up Shatter Me by Tahira Mafi. People should know what this one's about. A girl who has the power, the touch of death, basically. I thought it was time to jump on the train since there's a good 5 books out now, I think. Why not Again, have no idea when I'll read this, but that's the thing. I picked up The Wolves of Winter by Tyrell Johnson. This is a post-apocalyptic story. It's pretty thin, too. I love that. And it's about Lynn McBride, who is surviving in a collapsed society after a nuclear war, and she's living in the Canadian Yukon. And then someone comes along. So it's cool. That's my type of thing, too. I like post-apocalyptic and I like survival situations, so that's really good. Picked up The Hummingbird Dagger by Cindy Anstey. She has another book out called Suitors and Sabotage, and as well that's like Carols and Chaos or something. I haven't read any of hers, but this one seems really interesting to me. So this girl, it's a historical mystery. So this man, Lord James Ellerby, finds this young girl who's wandering around. She doesn't have a name or know how she got there, but she was a victim of a would-be serial killer, I think. And so as James and his sister try to help her remember her memories, they try to get closer to the person who did this to her and might be doing it to other people. Seems cool. It's Victorian. It's awesome. Let's go. All right. So now we're down to the romances I picked up. So I went on a self-published new adult binge, and I bought 6 of them. Well, okay, they're not all self-published, but most of them are. One of them I've read, and the rest I haven't. I decided I wanted to support these authors, and also I wanted to have a hard copy of some of these instead of just Kindle and kick it. But they're expensive because, you know, they're not sold the same way. I bought Captivated by Tessa Bailey and Eve Dangerfield because Tessa Bailey, I read one of her books earlier this month. I read an arc of it and I loved it, so I wanted to find something else she'd written. And this one's about a stand-up comedian, Autumn, who falls for her landlord. And I love that. I picked up The Deal by Al Kennedy, Off-Campus Book 1. And this is about Hannah, who is trying to like sex after being sexually assaulted. So she's finally found someone that she's interested in, but she doesn't want to bring all her baggage to the relationship. So she asks Garrett to help her enjoy sex. How could that go wrong, right? And she'll help him with his GPA. Yeah, I'm sure that's going to go normally. This is Waitlist by Candy Steiner. This is about a girl who also, I think, was assaulted or just had her relationship go really bad. And then she loses a lot of weight and tries to get new confidence. And she meets someone who is helping her with that. Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. Already read this, love this, gave it a really high rating. I wanted my own copy of it. So that's why I have this one. I picked up My Oxford Year by Julia Whelan. This is a not a self-published one. This is about Ella, who is staying in England for a scholarship, on a Rhodes Scholarship at Oxford, and she falls for her professor or else something. He's not a professor. Just a local, I guess. Sorry, I was totally wrong. But I heard this was really cute. Giving that a try. And then I picked up 180 Seconds by Jessica Park. This one also isn't self-published, but I hadn't heard of it before. So this is about Allison Dennis, who participates in a social experiment with this man named Espen. And after 180 seconds, they decide if they want to go on a date or end everything. And I think that it looks really fun. So these are all some new adult romances that I picked up. And then finally, the piece de resistance, all the historical romances I bought. So one of my favorite authors, if you watched my historical romance recommendation video, you'll know that I love Eloisa James. And I realized there was 3 books by her that I hadn't read yet. So I picked up 3 Weeks with Lady X. I picked up 4 Nights with a Duke, and I picked up My American Duchess. This one's actually a standalone historical romance, so if you're looking for one of those that's not entangled, these are part of another series where I've read one of them, but, you know, you don't have to read these types of books in order, but I just realized I hadn't read 2 of them, and I was like, hey, I need those, so I got them. And then, my favorite, I picked up books 1 and 2 in The Girl Meets Duke, The Duchess Deal, and The Governess Game. I've already read this one. I loved it, gave it 4.5 stars. Super excited to read the next person's story, which is really fun. There's also in The Governess Game, this one's nice. This has some diversity because there's actually someone who's not just, you know, a white British girl. Then I have books 1 through 4 in the Castle Ever After series. So that is Romancing the Duke, Say Yes to a Marquess, When a Scot Ties the Knot, and Do You Want to Start a Scandal? Yes, please, let me. And then I have the, what's this series called? I don't know what this one is called, but it is A Night of Surrender, A Week to be Wicked, and Any Duchess Will Do. Also, I've read this one. This is the Spindle Cove series. That's what this is. I'm missing book 3. It's on its way. That's the one that's not here yet. I read this one. Loved it. Can't wait to read everything else. Okay, guys. Whoo! We done. You still here? You're amazing. Thanks for watching me ramble about books like I pretend to know something. So, yeah, these are the newest 35 books that I bought. I need mental help sometimes. Anyway, tell me which ones you're most interested in seeing me read. Would love to hear which one of these you have read or are interested in. And yeah, I make new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And you can watch some more videos right now. Thanks for watching. Bye.